So I would like to, with this, give a warm welcome to both of you and hand over to you also to, give us a little bit of flavor of your sales journey till date and how has it been with Yes Bank. So over to you, Akshay and Dimple, and post that we will go ahead to the fireside questions.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Pooja. I'll request Dimple to go first and then I'll follow if she's okay with that.
Yeah, Akshay, I'm fine. Thank you so much. Uh, very quickly, with respect to my own personal journey, I post my MBA. I joined Citicorp Securities, which was a back office arm for Citibank, and typically I have handled a more service and operations oriented role for 2.5 years. Subsequently, in 2004, joining Yes Bank, into the transaction banking team, which was predominantly product and sales, and it's been a 20 glorious plus years of experience at Yes Bank. And just to summarize in terms of how the experience at Yes has been, of course I can say it's been a very, very fulfilling and enriching journey, especially when you start and join a startup bank. You practically have a feeling of being from a peon to a proprietor. So I had all those phases where I felt like the junior most peon person doing the most basic work, to a promoter of the bank feeling like I'm owning my business and I'm actually driving my own business and initiatives. And that feeling I cannot explain in words, actually, because it was a roller coaster ride, to say the least. But at the same time, the kind of platform that Yes gave to me, I owe my entire career to this place, because predominantly I've been working at Yes, and I have also predominantly handled the sales journey for the wholesale bank, which is considered as the corporate businesses for any bank actually today in the BFSI space. And that journey has been very, very enriching. Very, very strict targets. I mean, we are going to touch upon numbers, so I'll just quickly say that with a growing bank like Yes, you can appreciate the kind of pressure on meeting targets, budgets, meeting all the KPIs for yourself, for the team. And itself was a very motivating journey, and I think I've been blessed with the right set of bosses and peers and colleagues who have really helped me in this journey. I can't call this a success which is just mine. It's a collective success by all the stakeholders, in the journey that I have worked with, and who have really batted for me, cheered for me along the way, and have made me reach probably to the position that I'm today, that I'm being given an opportunity to address, all you wonderful women who are part of this session. And I hope, you guys take away from the session something good, and, can imbibe in your day-to-day lives. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure everybody will take a lot, I think, including the spy for her team, because, like I said, we are also here as a part of the corporate partnerships. So, yeah, we are also taking notes, Dimple.
Sure.
Over
Great.
to you, Akshay.
Okay, thank you, Dimple, and thanks, Pooja. I think the reason I wanted Dimple to go first is that I think she epitomizes what a lot of them should be looking at, because I saw that it's about 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years of experience of work. I have been in Yes Bank now for 11 odd years, and I have also witnessed, amongst other journeys, Dimple's own journey on how she's grown in the bank, and it's a great, inspiring story for all of them if they can follow. For me, around 25 years in banking, and prior to that, 2 years in stockbroking, then MBA and then banking. Actually, surprisingly, we heard the survey about work-life balance and sales targets. The good news for all the ladies on the call is that that's not a women's only problem. Uh, High sales targets is a big problem, so they're not alone there. But we will discuss it as we go along, that how best to sort of handle that. Uh, for me, and they might find it interesting, I actually, when I left B school, I did not want to do sales. So I can understand that entire approach of कि यार ये sales करना ही क्यों है, कि क्या मुसीबत है. From there, my first role for the first few years was actually not sales linked at all. I was in a central office job, product and ops. And from there, after I got the first opportunity to be in line management in sales, very honestly, that has become the most exciting part of the job. So even now, with the kind of role that I manage, there's a lot of time now. You tend to spend a lot of time in internal meetings. But the happiest part of your job is when you're out with a client and I think Dimple can also sort of. So that's the best part of the job. So you really, it grows on you, and then you actually start enjoying it, and you actually realize that that is the best part of your job. And I think during the discussion today, we'll try to analyze on how this happens and why this happens. From not wanting to be in sales to really enjoying sales as the best part of your job. That's really the beauty of it, and I think we will get into that discussion as we go along.
Thank you. And I think this is something that we've always, uh, heard also, that first you don't want to get into sales and you get so addicted to sales that, that is the way of life that you understand. And with this, I would also like to welcome our CEO and founder, Madhura Das Gupta Sinha, an ex-banker. And I think she also always has amazing sales stories to, share that how she excelled in sales. So maybe just a short hello, Madhura.
Hi, Madhura.
No, hi. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the platform, and a warm welcome to you, Akshay and Dimple. I got a little delayed, and because my meeting spilled over a little bit, but it's always amazing to relive a little bit of my banking memories. I feel I'm very far away from banking now, because I started as five for her on in 2020. So it's been 5 years of a very different kind of journey, but you can never take a person truly out of a bank, right? So I
Absolutely.
I always remember very fondly all the wonderful memories. And when we were talking about sales, I started my life in sales and in banking sales, and I think it was some of the most memorable experiences of my life. As to really talk to a client and especially when they see that something good has come out of that conversation. It's very, very powerful. So I do see a lot of women getting not very excited about sales. And that's something that I truly want to demystify and debunk, that banking sales is actually a great place to be in. And in the fact that Yes Bank is also coming forward and is wanting to welcome more women into their organization, I think that's really, really good. I would really encourage everyone to open their minds up to these great opportunities, because only after sales jobs you are really considered suitable for many other senior leadership and senior management roles. And if you've not done sales, in fact, then sometimes you, without even your knowledge, you'll probably sort of get excluded from those kind of wonderful opportunities which may come your way. So it's a little scary at the beginning, but there's nothing to be scared of, is really what I would like to say. And banking sales is a great place for women. So, and I was looking at Dimple's background as well. And I think it will be very, very nice to get to hear from both of you. I don't want to hog the limelight. It is all about you guys and you talking to the community. But yes, we have to break these misconceptions that exist in women's minds about sales being a very scary big thing. It's Targets are true for everyone, and you meet targets every day in your personal and professional lives otherwise.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madhura.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, what Madhura rightly said, I think that's the first question we have. So, we did, have a small survey when people were joining in and registering for this session, that, what are the topics that you want to. So, these next questions that I'm going to ask you are from the audience, in fact, from the community, that this is what they would like to know. And also, everyone who's joining in, if you have other questions, please use the chat box. Otherwise, we will be opening the floor to other questions by the end of the session. So, this is, something I would like to hear from both of you, Akshay and Dimple, because what we are rightly we hear that sales is best suited for men and it's a man's world. Numbers, again, the survey said that women are scared of numbers, or maybe some assume that women are challenged with numbers. So I would really, because I know Akshay has a large team, and which 42%, 43% of that is women, and it's like purely sales. And Dimple, you have your success story on your own, wherein you have actually, I think, broken many barriers. So I would like both of your views on this. That is sales actually a man's world? Over to both of you.
Yeah,
Akshay, we
Dimple.
Akshay,
can begin with you.
I'm okay either ways, whatever Akshay decides.
Okay, Dimple goes first.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Um, so yes, first and foremost, I would like to put on record that I can confidently say that the notion of sales being a man's world according to me, and probably because of my personal experience of managing sales, it's completely outdated and fundamentally flawed. Success, if you ask me, is not about gender. It is absolutely got nothing to do being with a man or a woman. It's predominantly about the skills that you can bring to the table, how you can strategize, how you can be resilient in a sales business, and how you can build a relationship, with your end customer with whom you're selling. So this typical stereotype that men are naturally better suited for sales stems, I think, from more traditional biases, rather than any reality. And this is again, I can always keep quoting my personal experience in a bank like Yes, which I can say, over the last 2 decades, at least in the wholesale banking space, had been, I won't say is, but had been a very dominated team, more with men on the relationship side as well as the business that I manage. And just very quickly, there are few very unique strengths, I would say, that women bring to the sales side of the business, and which are very critical, in managing clients, needing and making long-term relationships. For me, it is trust, negotiation, and a deep understanding of your business. I think women consistently have proven their ability to excel. There are women in my team, who have grown up the ladder along with me, if I may say so, who are now managing senior positions for product and sales for very, very tough businesses, which are not so easy businesses to manage in the corporate banking side. But breaking the stereotype is not just about, proving individual capability. It's also about shifting the industry and the corporate mindset that are there. We see a lot of women leading in sales. I think we as women can redefine what success looks like. Personally, I take huge pride in being part of this change, and I encourage more and more women to step into the sales role with utmost confidence. And it's not a man's world, it's a leader's world. So if you're a good performer, you're a good leader, it's not about being a man or a woman. And very quickly, before I end this, I'll just give a quote, a very personal example. When I just started my career, I was into a operations and service background. I used to talk to clients, corporate clients, large clients across India, for service related issues for the trade finance business that I used to manage. uh, After 2 years, 2.5 years of doing this, I realized that I had a great flair of when I was talking, the way I could convince customers, how the customers were very dependent on me. And for a lot of things, they reached back to me. They wanted to speak to a Dimple Chitnis. They wanted to get some solution from her, though I was not having a face to face meeting with them. It was purely a telephonic call, which I used to do back then. And that gave me the push and the confidence. So then, when I was applying for Yes Bank, I remember I was interviewed by senior people in the bank, purely for an operations and a service background, because they thought I had that experience and that was the best fitment for a bank which was just starting out. But I think somewhere, my gut, my confidence, my ability to pursue, and I think I negotiated for like 3 4 months, saying that I want to move into sales. I think I'm very good at it. I think I can add value. Really paid off. So I can't thank the team who recruited me at Yes Bank to give me the stepping stone, despite not having this any exposure with sales, to give me that chance and to be able to prove myself. I think I took it up as a personal challenge because I knew there was so much of resistance initially for them to take me into a sales team, which is very, it's different because a bank which is starting doesn't have set systems and processes and teams. So they want experienced people to join their, team of professionals. But what the limited point I want to make is that if you are convinced and you feel you have the flair and you have the confidence, push for it, strive for it, and definitely don't give up on your own personal aspirations. So, that's how you can break the stereotype for yourself, if not for the world. Sorry, Akshay, over to you.
Yeah, I'll actually just take forward what she said. In fact, if I can make this a little interactive, and if people on the WebEx can do a show of hands or a wave, I'll just rattle out 4 or 5 words, and I want to see if they relate to those words and if they feel women, they specifically, and women in general, have a strength in these areas. So the first is having conversations. Do you like having conversations as people, and do you think women in general are good at having conversations? If we can quickly have uh, a show of hands. Yeah. The second is, how many of us believe that the empathy quotient in women is higher than it is in men? The next is a controversial one, but I will not draw a comparison there. But How many of us believe that integrity is very strong in women? How many of us believe that women have better attention to detail and an attitude which is to solve problems? Now, and I'm seeing by and large everybody waving out and saying yes, and Dimple will vouch for this at a competency level, and I will come to skills. At a competency level, if you have this, you are tailor made for sales. Because end of the day, this is what sales is all about. Now there is a layer which you need to build on top, which is the skilling, right? You need to know the product quite well, and you need to know how to pitch it. So there is a lot that helps you on how to build that skill where you can deliver that in the right manner to the client. But attitudinally, if these five characteristics are there, you are best suited for a sales job. That's my belief, and that's why 42% of my team is women. And I've seen this throughout my career. I mean, there is nothing to distinguish that men will be better at sales, because end of the day, sales is more about managing a relationship. It is not about going and talking about a product. The people who end up being successful in sales are the ones who know how to manage relationships well, because it's not about a transaction. It's about how do you build trust, how do you build a rapport, and how do you solve the problem for the other person. How do you identify that they have a problem? And it's my belief and it's my experience that a good woman salesperson, everything else being equal, delivers better than a good male salesperson. And I'm not saying this because I'm on this chat or on this call. This is the experience that I have had, and that's why uh, I run the private banking team of the bank. We have two, market heads across India. Both are women, and they are brilliant at this job, and they have been stars throughout their career. And it's something that comes very naturally to them, and it's a great. So starting off, look, the world started off with saying that the world is only for men and by men, right? So from there we moved to the fact that okay, men will earn and women will stay at home. The next stage was that okay, men will do the sales job and women will not. And I think we are at a stage where I think all of this is a thing of the past. These stereotypes have got broken. The other big change which has happened is that while women were always consumers, they were probably not the customers, which means while they would be using the product at the end of the day, maybe the decision was not theirs of buying. That's also changed a lot, right? So even the people that you're addressing when you're selling, a lot of them are now women in terms of making decisions and taking calls. So even from a seller's point of view, I think just break out of that mindset that you will be going out there and dealing only with men. That's obviously also not a problem, but the whole market, the whole concept has shifted. I think this is a remnant of the past that sales is for men. There is enough and more examples, and I gave you examples from my team. Dimple is there on the call. It's all a myth now, and it's got busted. So don't worry about it.
Rightly said. I think the key word that you used, Akshay, is like mindset. And that is the key word that is central to
Absolutely.
Aspire for her is mindset change. So there's a lot of, things that we have assumed because, they started off at a certain point of time when we were like the economy or the environment was different. But in today's time and however the environment around us changed, so the mindset has to change. And I think we have to get out of this, the psychology that, okay, no, I can't do sales. And yes, we have many and more examples to look forward to, which we would like to, showcase on this platform as we are and in the future as well. So, yeah, a lot of insights from both of you. Dimple, moving next to you. So again, like we rightly said, there's a lot of environment change, and women inherently already have a lot of, qualities which Akshay rightly, had all of us participate. And I think I raised my hand at every, aspect that he said. But I think sales is all about, bringing your personality to the, meeting as well. So that is, personal branding. So how do you, say that how important is personal branding and getting your personality to a sales meeting in today's time and, age? So what do you have to say about that?
So uh, basically, I can't agree more, Pooja, that personal branding has become a necessity today. I mean, it is not just a could do or wish to do or a good thing to have. In my personal view, and that's how I mentor some of the women in my team, because I also through the HCM run mentorship programs, and I have women directly I'm mentoring within Yes Bank. I feel that building a personal brand about what you bring to the table or the value as a woman in any area of sales. It could be banking, it could be product, it could be a consumer sales, it could be retail, it could be anything, but the value that you bring to the table is very, very critical, and it has become a necessity today also because the competition is fierce. There are more people who are capable and competent of doing the same job. So it is very, very critical that as women we introspect and figure out what is our strong point and what is the brand that we bring to the table. I can share a few examples in terms of what how I realized over my journey that that was something that I was personally lacking and I needed to work on, because it's we've also learned with trials and errors. It's not like I was a born leader and a born salesperson and I did not make my share of mistakes and I did not have my ups and downs in my journey, with my career. But a few, just to summarize a few, three, four critical ones, which I really feel that helped me build up a brand image for myself or a brand personality that I brought to the table, in the bank was typically it was expertise and the thought leadership. Trying to be a trusted advisor. You're a professional, but you also have to have to that flair of being a trusted advisor. You need to be ahead of the industry trends. You need to understand market dynamics. You need to strategize when you're meeting a very, very large corporate set of clients, and you have to have that expertise rather than just trying to do transactional or a product selling. Today product selling does not work, right? I mean, it has its limitations, but you also have to bring that added advantage of the expertise, and people should associate you with a knowledge person who understands the business well, understands what they're selling, and more importantly is keen to understand what the client needs. We have a tendency to go and sell. I have a list of three things in my pocket and I need to go and sell that to the customer irrespective whether he needs it or not. Those are things I think I learned in my journey as a salesperson. I realized what I was doing was not working. It was a wrong thing to do. And over a period of years, I started changing my positioning. I became a more active listener with clients, and I created that branding that Dimple Chitnis can be associated with a solution provider or who understands her or his business, in a far more better detail. Authenticity and relationship building is again a very, very personal topic to me. You have to build client relationships, you have to be transparent, you have to be reliable consistently. You have to keep that thing with you, because clients are facing off with various different sellers in the market. It's, as I said, it could be any sphere of banking or products or consumers. Clients are meeting across a lot of people. There's no dearth of the competition available. You have to consistently deliver value, build that trust with the customer, and be transparent. I think the trust that you earn, according to me, and women, I feel, okay, again, I don't want to compartmentalize women and men, but women tend to keep their relationships longer. They get more invested with client relationships, and I think that genuineness comes across and helps you to build a brand for yourself. Least to say, confidence is important. You have to be confident. You have to the reason I'm doing this session today is something which I didn't do a decade ago, but I realized that just having this knowledge or skill set with me is not enough. I need to start speaking at events. I need to start letting people know what we do, and that's how I think I can urge women to also build their network strategically, because networking is also creating a brand value for yourself. You need to let more people know what you bring to the table. So your internal stakeholders is one thing, but you also have to have the networking along the sector or the industry that you're managing. So to be able to get the right, audience and the right people to bat for you in your career and your journey in sales. So over the years, I have encountered biases. I won't say I haven't. I've had challenges. I've had setbacks. The bank has had its own journey of setbacks and successes, but the brand that you get associated with reflects and helps you navigate all complex sales pitches and deals with utmost confidence. So adapt, continuously learn. I don't think a strong brand can never be static. It has to grow with experience. It has to grow with industry shifts, and I think a good personal brand is a very powerful differentiator in sales. It sets you apart from the rest of your peers, rest of your colleagues. It goes beyond job titles. Beyond a point, it's not about a job title. It's about how people perceive your value, how they perceive your expertise. For me personally, again, personal branding has been a very one of the very key important drivers for the success. And I encourage all women, also the women who are here on this seminar, please embrace it. Understand your own inherent unique strengths, your own expertise, and you can make a personal brand for yourself. It is absolutely an achievable thing. Just introspect, and trust me, you will have all the clarity that you need how to create a personal brand.
Uh, for sure. I think I agree with everything you said. And one of the key points here you also said is that you've now, started coming out to such platforms and showcasing the skill is that because having role models to look up to, because I'm in my own my own corner and think I can do it, but then when I have a role model and I have a story, I listen to it, you mentally slowly and gradually you start getting more confidence. And I think we are lucky in today's time and age, we have these portals wherein we can do these online webinars. Otherwise I think we used to just wait for a good person to be in our circle for us to talk to. So I think we should take the maximum, we should make maximum use of this feature that we have, that we can, utilize it more. Thank you so much. Going on the same trend, Akshay, I would like to ask you. So again, being a part of sales, you have a lot of rejection, because I think our salespeople, we know that if we are sending out maybe 50 proposals, less than 50% is, what we at least get a meeting, and then less than that is what, we are finally able to progress further. So, in your 25 years of experience, like how have you handled it and how have you overcome it? Because sometimes, it really does affect you, and that is also demotivator, and sometimes makes you move away from sales that okay, I'm maybe calling 10 people every day, but none of them are responding to me. So how have you encouraged your team also to overcome this?
So it's an interesting one, Pooja, and this is, while it's actually when you do a sales training session, actually more than half a day goes into this specific discussion. But I'll tell you how, at least personally, I have seen this, and when I'm talking to the teams, what I'm talking to them about, and I, honestly take a lot of inspiration from sport, and I'll try to give a few examples here of how this works because uh, look, finally, a lot of things in life, actually, most things in life, and the success that we see, life is about ratios, and actually, you're constantly working to get the ratios in your favor or get them better. And I'll quote this as an example today. Okay, how many of us know Jasprit Bumrah? Right, almost all of us on the call. If I can get a show of hands, and we are hearing the media talk today about him probably being arguably the greatest fast bowler in the world today.
Yeah, Chris Martin also believes that, so we also
Yeah.
believe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we heard that, right?
Yeah.
Now, on an average, how many deliveries or balls, as we call them, does he need to bowl to get a wicket? One wicket. And we'll be shocked, right? It takes him about 40 deliveries, and he's the best in the world. He has to bowl 40 times before he can get a batsman out. It's a flip in the mind, right? And I'll give you another example, which is the greatest, probably the greatest basketballer who has ever lived, Michael Jordan. And it's a very commonly available. If maybe people Google after the call, they will see his quote. So if somebody like a Jasprit Bumrah has to get disappointed 39 times before he gets a batsman out, in sales, all ratios are better than this. The only thing we have to change is I think we have to stop taking it personally. So what happens is we start looking at this as a personal failure and sort of start to attach it to our own skill or So you will start with a ratio. It's not going to be hunky dory from day one. It's going to take you 20 prospects or maybe 30 prospects to get your first sale. But you are constantly going to get better. And that's what you have to work towards, right? That it's going to be constantly improving. You just have to stay in there. And Michael Jordan talks about, so he's done about 12,000 field basket goals, which means he's managed to hit the basket 12,000 times when he took a shot. And he talks about that, why do people focus only on the 12,000 ones I got? There are 9,000 that I missed. And if I hadn't taken those 9,000 shots, I would not have got the 12,000 that I got. And actually, sales is like that. So you will have to keep trying. Every attempt will make you better. I think you need to stop taking it personally to feel that there's not something good with you. There's a lot of feedback that you will get from each call, tacit, and otherwise, on what you needed to do differently for you to get that convert or that sales. But there is an ecosystem also that needs to work around you. But I think the biggest thing that you have to imbibe or get rid of is this fear of failure. You have to get that out of your mind. It doesn't matter if you don't succeed. Just keep coming in and bowling that ball, and you're going to get a wicket. Because each delivery is going to tell you, and your coach is going to tell you, and your captain is going to tell you, your field placement is going to change. They're going to help you and see what needs to be done or changed for you to get that wicket. Sometimes you will bowl an amazing delivery, but you will still not get a wicket. So you will have an amazing sales call, but it's just not your day. So don't feel bad about it and don't take it personally. Success will come. It's a ratio. And as you progress and you gain experience, you will only get better at this ratio. You will probably start with 25 prospects to a convert. By the time you are vintage and you are at it, maybe it takes you 3 calls to do a convert. And if you get that, you're magic. It's not going to get better than that. You're going to have a bad call and you're going to have a not convert. So be prepared. And don't take that personally. Every call is not going to be success. So
Love it.
don't take it personally and don't fear it. It's okay if you don't get a conversion, it's fine. And that's the comfort that we try to give to our teams. Just don't stop trying. Keep on, see what you need to improve, work with your ecosystem to improve that, and the ecosystem will work with you and you will get better at it.
Yes, I truly agree that sometimes we feel that we've made the most amazing pitch, but somehow, and it's progressing, and at times it just falls in the end, and then that is like really a downer. But I think the best way is, to get up, brush yourself, and then you move on to the next one and take it as a learning. So, a lot of great
Yes.
advice, Akshay. I think we have a lot of questions in the chat, so I would like to, take a couple of them now if you're
Sure.
ready. I had a couple of hands also up. If somebody wants to, unmute themselves and ask a question. Uh, does anyone, or do you want me to? Hepzibah, would you like to ask a question? I had
Yes,
your hand up. Yes,
Pooja.
go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, this session is very insightful. Thank you so much for your inputs, Akshay and Dimple, and my best wishes to Pooja and the entire people who are in the room now, right now. And so I am Hepzibah. I'm from Aspire for Her. I do take inspiration from other women and also my own CEO, Madhura Das Gupta ma'am. And so I just want to help other people in the room by asking this question. So we, as women, my question is to Dimple ji. So if I can ask you, so we women can do a lot of networking. They are not bad at networking. And when it comes to closing deals, women are a little bit higher than men, even if we see the statistics, and they are good at numbers even in their household choices. So the main thing that women face is what I believe is work-life balance and their support system that they miss mostly. Dimpleji, how did you overcome this area in your life that have pushed you forward in this particular sector to have work-life balance and also to have a support system around you to keep going in your career without looking back. Thanks.
Sure. Hepzibah, if I can, tell you in terms of how I have personally, managed to manage the work life balance. This is the typical problem women face. I have to admit, there's no denial on that. First and foremost, we have to stop behaving like superwomen. We are not superwomen. The thing is, we have been, I think all through your journey, now, even now when we're raising our girls, we're trying to tell them that you can do it all, you're equal, everything is great. All of that is fine. But with our generation, it was always like women can do it all. No, I can't do it all. I need help. And my biggest advice to every woman, who's probably listening to me or will listen to me in future is ask for help. Because yes, there is a little bit of understanding in households that women need to share a little bit more of the responsibility when it comes to family, children, their school. Men, I think I have come a long way. At least I have been blessed to have a more supportive husband who has been there for most of the PTA meetings, has been available for most of the issues that my son has picked up in school, for sports day, for prize distribution. Yes, I've had to miss, have sacrifices, but I have asked for help. Whether it was my in laws, whether it were my parents, whether it was my husband, whether it was my nanny, whether it was my boss and my colleagues, I have always not shied away from asking help. It doesn't make you weaker. Or, a person will not treat you, oh, Dimple is very weak because she's asking for help constantly. Yes, I have to manage two things. I have to have a work life balance. I have to give equal priority to my child. I'll just give you an example. I actually went up, and again, I'm also blessed to have the best set of bosses at Yes Bank. I don't know how to say this, but I always say this to everybody. I went up to my boss and I said, is it okay if I leave every day at 5:30 because I stay in Thane? It takes me 2 hours. I would love to save that time of instead of traveling in the car to reaching home a bit earlier. But I assure you, I will be available on phones, on calls, on any important things that are needed. So what I started doing was I started working with timelines of the traffic. I started coming into office by 8:30 so that I beat some traffic. I started leaving office at 5:30. COVID taught us all, right, that you can work remotely, you can work on phones, you can work on WebExes. Now we're having a virtual online session with you women. So I think, women should not shy away if they need help. They should go forward. They should take help from peers, from colleagues. I think I'm the only woman probably who gets up at 5:30 from her desk, takes her bag, and walks out in a room or a floor full of people who are probably really genuinely sitting till 8 in the evening trying to get business done. But yes, I do get up and I walk out without any shame, without anything that there are 40 eyes watching me or my team is thinking, ye dekho, she goes at 5:30, leaving all the work. But I am available. Even when I leave office, I am available on phones. I'm available for any discussions. So I have always asked for help. I'm not a superwoman, and I think Hepzibah, you and other women should also, I think, somewhere take all the help that you can. Today, in our industry, in our workplace, people understand the sensitivity to women, help needed. Yes, Bank is taking a lot of initiative in this regard. I'm sure all organizations across the country are. The sensitivity quotient about helping women build their careers and their objectives. I think that awareness is way different than what it was 2 decades ago. The awareness today is very, very different. People are cognizant of it. Organizations are cognizant of it. I can see walking, Yes Bank walking the talk for it. I'm sure your company does it too. So I think this way women can achieve and try and maintain a work-life balance despite having the so-called taboo, that sales is tough, sales is very, very demanding, lot of pressure, targets meet karna padta hai, travel karna padta hai. I think women also face a lot of challenge when work life because they have to travel. I travel across pan India, but I shamelessly take help from everybody that I can. I don't shy away, and I think all women should do that and admit that I'm not a superwoman. I think that will just sort most of the problems for each of us. Thanks. I just hope I could answer your question uh, in the little way that I could. If not, we can always discuss this separately offline.
Yeah, remember.
Thank you, Dimple, for being so candid in answering my simple question, and thank you for highlighting the support that you're receiving from the Yes Bank management, and also highlighting two things: so planning ahead of the day, and also the key takeaways that I take from you from your responses: planning ahead of the day, and also being overcoming fears, not shying away, and doing what is required at the moment, and that pushes us forward. Thank you for making it so clear. I hope it helps others as well.
Yes, I hope so too. Thank you so much
The
for
very
asking this.
apt question that I had on my list. So yeah, one less question for me. Thank you. This is a very important, to know That I don't deny that men also need to maintain that work-life balance. I think that is also a mindset that we need to change. But yes, I think women have a little bit more, balancing to do. But well said, Dimple, and I think the entire community takes a lot from it that we need to ask for help when. And it's great that Yes Bank is extending that kind of help. We have been partnering with Yes Bank for a couple of months now, so we know that Yes Bank is looking to do a lot of exciting things at this front, and we are very proud to be partnered with you on this agenda. Another question that we have here, maybe Akshay, you want to take it. What are the strategies? What strategies have helped you consistently closing deals? And this is a question from Harsha.
Look, I think that it's changed actually, and things are changing quite fast. I think today, and I think Dimple mentioned it earlier when she was speaking. Today, when you're going for a meeting, you need to be well prepared, and it's not just about. And what is really good is that today you have a lot of information available. I was having this just to keep things interesting. I was having this chat with my daughter, and there's this usual conversation, parent and child, right? That we used to have this whole thing of knowing countries and capitals. There was a GK book. You needed to know, right, information, because when you were interacting later, you had no recourse to information being very, very readily available. And this is a insight she gave me. So I was just asking them that how come you guys are not interested in any of this general information, kuch nahi, GK, kuch nahi, countries, capitals, currencies. So she said, Papa, you're not really thinking about. See, what happens is, for me, this information is available at the push of a button. I just need to talk to Google and I will get this information. For me, more important is how do I apply it? And what am I doing with this information? At your time, probably knowing itself was a big thing. If you knew you were a star, but you're not a star if you know today, because the star is there on your phone. So what I do with this information is important. And I think that's how the world has changed, right? Information is available to everybody, including your customer. They will probably know more about your product and more about the competition than you do at that stage. So I think the critical thing is you have to go with a lot of homework, and you have to be absolutely clear about what value you bring to the table. And one of the things that, at least in my experience, that has changed in sales is that don't feel shy of taking somebody along who you think can augment what you already know. I think that also helps the power equation when you are in a conversation or on a call. It's always better to keep the balance of power in your favor. You need to know what value you're adding. You need to do a lot of homework. And the good thing is you have a lot of information available. So if you are a bank relationship manager today, you have a huge amount of information available about the customer already. Now, are you doing the homework of knowing all of that? And when you go, you will be much better prepared in handling objections, handling, really creating value, because that's what the customer is looking for. What value can you add to me? So if you do your homework with that intent, your conversation will be better and the results will automatically start getting better. I think that's the important thing.
So basically customizing your entire pitch, to actually say the language of what the customer is wants to hear. At times it is our solution, but to say it in
Yeah,
his language.
if you do the homework, you already have a sense of what the customer is all about. If you go without that sense of what could be their possible problems or what are the things I could solve for them, if you have that, you're much better prepared. If you don't, then you will be clueless because they will know more than you know.
I think in lines to this, so we have time for two, three questions, but I'm going to take this one. I think I just went up. So Archana, in lines to this, Akshay has a question that how differently would you approach a sales meet with a prospect when you are a startup vis-a-vis a corporate house? So I think maybe she's an entrepreneur. Or Archana, correct me if I'm wrong. That how would you know, or like maybe what she's trying to ask is that if you're an established name and then going to a client vis-a-vis being a startup who's going to a client. So how would you know, like how should the sales pitch be, or what kind of approach should we have?
I think I'll start with what I just ended with, and maybe we can also get Dimple to pitch in. Look, I think if I got the question right, uh,
I
is
think
she
basically
asking
if
if
you're
you
a
are
branded name.
approaching a startup versus a corporate house, or You are a startup versus an established brand. If I could just get the context correctly.
Archana, do you want
Are
to
you
unmute yourself?
representing a startup versus a brand, or are you approaching a startup, versus a brand?
Uh, Archana, if you want to
My
unmute.
understanding is that if we are a startup and we are approaching a prospect, how would it be different vis-a-vis a corporate house? Because it says when you are a startup. So
Okay.
unless Archana, you want to re-clarify.
Look, okay. As a bank today, and out of experience, as a bank today, we deal with a lot of startups. There are a lot of startups who are interacting with us, and I can tell you the learnings from that. Look, you have to be very clear about what value you will bring to the customer, and what is it that you will be your USP vis-a-vis a large established brand that it could be in terms of how fast can you turn around the solution. Do you have a new technology which that maybe corporate does not have? Is there something new that you have a new sort of innovation? Are you faster because you're smaller, right, in terms of size? Can you do it cheaper? So it'll have to be across multiple factors where you can bring something to the table which is better than what an established player can bring to the table. I think you'll have to calibrate that bit. It could be your speed of execution. It could be the level of your technology. Maybe you have a smarter solve for the problem, which you will be able to maybe render faster, deliver faster, and maybe you can do it cheaper because you're still a small setup. You don't have a lot of associated big costs and some other factors. So you have to go factor by factor, analyze where is it that you can beat an established player on what tenet, and probably that is going to be your pitch. Maybe Dimple, you want to add something to this?
I was actually going to give a little twist to the question because I understood the question slightly differently. And if I may, Archana, if I were a startup and I was going to a prospect client, vis-a-vis if I was an established brand, or an organization going to a corporate client, how differently would I do my business if I have to take that question in the opposite way? And I can talk out of experience again because when I joined Yes from a brand like City, Yes was not a known bank. I mean, I had meetings where customers used to say, "Are you even a qualified commercially scheduled bank? And why such a frivolous name like Yes? Like, are you even serious in the business that you're doing? I mean, how can a bank have a name like Yes as its name?" So I think when we are going for a sales pitch, depending on the type of the audience, whether I'm going as a startup to a more established organization, I have to understand that these organizations are very, very up the curve in their understanding of the products that the various banks are going to bring to them. And hence, they are not going to entertain you just because you're another bank on the street. You have to come up with something extremely differentiated than the clutter and the rest of the banks to be able to remember create that recall value for you. And I can say it out of experience when we used to go and meet very, very large corporates when Yes Bank was just in its first year of operations. Our understanding of this business was like extremely thorough homework, understand what the client is already doing with the competition that we are in that space, and then going with something completely differentiated, which we knew because we were a new startup, we had that agility to create that product or launch that product or do certain nuances around it, which could help the corporate. That's how Yes Bank started its corporate journey, right? It was very difficult to deal with the stalwarts of all the bigger banks. Now, when we are a more established player, right, the way we go and approach the same clientele in the business with is with a different hat. Now you have to be cognizant that you have to compete in the same space. So is service going to be your proposition? Is going to be a differentiator? Is pricing going to be the differentiator? Is your relationship capital with the client going to be the differentiator? So I think every time as a salesperson you wear a different hat, depending on which organization you are representing and the organization or the person that you're going to pitch for the business. I think that understanding, if you get it right, trust me, I think the success ratio, and Akshay alluded to the ratio part, I think the success probability is very, very high in that case. So you have to change with your life cycle of your organization, and you have to also adapt and be agile to the life cycle changes of the target segment that you're pitching the business to. So I just took your question slightly differently, Archana, and I hope we haven't confused you more, but I just wanted to share
By
my.
Archana's response, you actually got it bang on. So you're a lifesaver.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't realize that, but I just thought it's important because I understood the question slightly differently. So, Archana, I hope Akshay and I jointly could address some of your concerns.
Oh, I think we have both sides of the coin. We have answers to, both the aspects. So yeah, I think it's a win-win for everyone. Unfortunately, we're out of time. There are still a lot of questions. I think people still want to know, what is the best way to, be up to date in the sales with the emerging trends and since you both have been in the sales for quite a while. So I think with your closing, I would want both of you, to let us know what your mantra has been in this, long sales careers, excellent sales careers that both of you have had, and also to address that how have you, kept yourself up to date with the emerging trends. One is there, and then obviously the customer has changed, the nature of customer, how you approach and his expectations. So maybe a couple of lines on that before we close.
So for me, it's been it's pretty simple. I think if I were to leave just one line with everybody, I think the more uh, visits, meetings, calls you do, the more effort you make, the better you get. That's been the mantra for me. I think it just helps you. If you, it's like net practice in cricket. The more you do it, actually the better you get, and because that gives you the cues on what you need to improve. Because from every call you return, you know that probably this is what I missed, right? So just stay at it. Do as many sales meetings as you can. Plunge into sales. It's the most enjoyable thing that you will experience in your work life. And once you get, it's very addictive. Once you cross that inertia and really get into it, and when you start enjoying the successes, then you really want to keep bowling. That's what happens.
Uh, can't agree more with you, Akshay. I think you have summarized it brilliantly. I mean, I think I completely resonate with what you just said. If I can just add something more to what Akshay mentioned, I mean, one thing is, we've talked enough about how women in sales can, what they should do, what they should not do. How can they, grow their journeys? How can we break some of the myths and the barriers or the stereotypes that are typically synonymous with, sales businesses and women in sales businesses. One thing I would like to just leave on the table for all the women, on this in this WebEx basically is that women just know your worth. We women tend to always hesitate to negotiate for ourselves. We talk about negotiating with clients, we talk about advocating your business, doing the right pitch, understanding the value that you can bring to the table. But somewhere I think women, and this is out of experience because I've had lots of women in my team, compared when I see them compared to some of the men in my team, in junior as well as mid-level positions, women tend to shy away from asserting their value. They hesitate to come and negotiate for themselves. They feel that people should understand what they want. I mean, organization is not your husband. Stop expecting people to assume, understand what you are going through, what you need, and expect your bosses and your line managers to understand on their own proactively कि आपके साथ ये issue हो रहा है. Speak up, women. Articulate yourself, talk about your contributions, ask what you deserve. Don't shy away. It's not a mistake, trust me. It's not a mistake to shy away from asserting in terms of what you want, what you want to advocate, and always go up forward and ask for your own career growth. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong in that. And I think many women shy away from doing that. Again, I'm sure times have changed, but women in teams that I have worked with, I have seen them not coming forward, demanding for more, asking for more. Don't assume your bosses and your line managers have to understand and they have to do it proactively. I think women tend to get into that emotional mindset कि my boss should have understood this. मैंने इतना किया, they should have understood this. Their teams are getting larger, businesses are getting tougher. So I think please go out there, put yourself out there, ask for what you deserve. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Negotiate for yourself. And I hope, my last parting statement is because we keep talking so much about diversity, having more women in sales. I just hope in future there will be no female leaders or women leaders. I think we will just be talking a few years down the line of just talking about just having leaders, not about men or women, but just how do we advocate leadership and having leaders in the organization. I hope we don't have to struggle with just trying to create women leaders in different areas of organizations. So this
Yeah,
is how I would like to just end my part of the discussion.
yeah. Truly said that it should not be, we should not be saying that woman leader and we should not be, have the need to celebrate that, okay, we have so much diversity. It should be, an assumed thing that, okay, this is something that, this is,
Is there?
this is something that has to be there, like a
we,
necessity,
we,
not a
we
want.
have to trump on this one.
We hope, we hope. We
Right.
hope. We were discussing the other day. We go two steps ahead and then we are four steps back. But yeah, we shall overcome, what we used to say at school. But thank you so much, Dimple and Akshan. Amazing, amazing session. I would like to definitely have both of you back in any of our future sessions as well. I would like you to talk to a larger community as well. But excellent pieces of advice. Thank you to everyone who's joined in today. We do have a small poll. If you could, take the small poll and it'll help us curate the next session. I have also shared links to, how to join this sales community and a couple of links to join our pages as well so that you are, what is happening along with, to know more about Yes Bank. Also, we have the links here to do share and join and stay connected with us so that, we can bring to you more amazing sessions like these in future. So I'm just going to take about 30 seconds, Dimple and Akshay,
Yeah, sure.
for the community to,
Sure.
this poll. I think mentorship is coming up in a big way.
Pooja,
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Sorry. You have already mentioned, but I've also added in the chat. So if people want to know more about Yes Bank, maybe get a preview of our live culture, etc., the open jobs with us, so they can visit the LinkedIn page of ours. So I've just added the link
Sure.
on the chat.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Debrishi. So we have here the LinkedIn page as well. So follow sorry, not LinkedIn, Yes Bank's LinkedIn page. So do follow to see what amazing things Yes Bank is doing because, like I said, we've been partnering them for the past couple of months. So a lot of exciting stuff is happening. Uh, Follow us, follow them, and let us make the change together. So I think mentorship is the winner here. So yeah, definitely we should be having both of you back for another session soon. Thank you so much, everyone, once again, for joining in. Like excellent pieces of advice we are taking away, me personally as well. And thank you so much, and a very good evening to everyone.
Thank you, Pooja. Thanks, Dimple. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for
Thank,
joining.
thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you
Thanks,
for having
Akshay.
us on the session. Pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you so much.